What's going on, guys? I'm going to go through the tactics setup for every single phase in the pitch, whether you're winning, whether you're losing, and of course your default tactics. We're going to go through all of these, and let's start with defense. Don't forget, you will see every Friday the early tactics here. These have been trialed and tested. Thank you for all those that provided feedback. Now, do you want to get better at FC25? Now, before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you join my FC school and you didn't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? I can say this because I've been running my FC school for many, many years, and thousands of students join and even stay on. We go over complete in-depth gameplay tutorials showing you both the theory of something and the gameplay examples using real-life examples in a structured format that's like a course. The videos are on a systematic learning system teaching you everything from the core mechanics, the basics, to the meta, so you can get better as a whole, with explanations that go beyond the scope of my YouTube channel. FC School has already started with every single tactical layout, focuses, meta cards, and learn the meta before it even becomes the meta. So come join thousands of others in a mature audience community for those looking to get better at FC25, patreon.com/nilguides, or click the link down below. Now, when you join, we already have a library of hundreds of videos, more than my YouTube channel, in fact, with new videos on FC25 getting constantly added, so you'll never run out of content. The biggest mistake people do is they spend thousands of dollars on FP points every year, thinking this will make them better, but it won't. But now it's time for you to make that change. Don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, just send me a message and I'll refund your money. That's the Nil Guides guarantee. Links down below in the description, patreon.com/Nil Guides. We've gone with a 4-1-4-1. That's the code just below defend for the defensive approach. Now, the reason why we've done this is because a lot of people are struggling defensively. Now, you can see this is a packed out defense. You basically have a back four. You've got one CDM. You've got two holding center mids, and you've got a left mid, a right mid. I was going to go with a 4-3-3, but I still think that's a bit too aggressive. If you don't like using a 5-4-1 because you lack CDMs, this is the good intermediate, I would say, to go between that. So if you don't want to be a 5-back rat, you're like me, you know, you don't want to play that way, but you want to be defensive, this is the way to go. So we got advanced forward on the striker, holding on both the two center mids. Ignore Guti here. Bon Matty's going to be playing here, so just ignore Guti for a second. I'm just going to buy Bon Matty when she goes down. Foden as a left mid and a right mid. We got Son. We got them on wide midfielders defend. They're going to be the outlet options. The fullback and the centre backs all on fullbacks defend and defend. And then you can see here we've got a build-up style balance, not short passing, by the way, because you still want players to be making those runs in behind as outlets for lob through balls. And defensive approach, we left this on 40, so it's not so far deep where we're basically allowing possession, allowing those finesse shots, because those are still OP, but we're keeping it just on balance, but like a lower amount. 40 is a good aggregate where you're not dropping too deep, not susceptible, because you drop so deep, you're going to be susceptible to, of course, the finesse shots of Travella, especially if you're going for those rank ones. And don't worry too much about those of you that are going, you know, don't forget some of the pros now are even getting 13 and 2. So if you're a rank 5 player last year, I would say a conservative estimate of 7 wins, what you would get this weekend league. Hopefully text can help you out a little bit. Then we have the pressing formation. So this was the formation. Okay, let's say we're inside the game winning 3-0. Okay, we'll change to this formation. But what about if we're losing inside the game? Or let's say we're losing 2-0 down, we've got to start applying pressure. Then have this press formation. You can see the 4-4-2. We all know the best formation for pressing. Everyone knows that. I think you should know that by now watching my videos. But if you don't, 4-4-2 goes to structure. It's the best pressing layout because you have two strikers. You know, a 4v4 up against your opponent's centre backs as well. Got counter, and we have high defensive approach. 75 depth, I think it's a good amount. You can always reduce this if you want to, but I'm comfortable in 75. You could go down to 70, but realistically, you ideally want to stay around that range because don't forget, once you go down, you go to balance. So you ideally want to stay on 70 minimum, and that way your team starts applying pressure. And we got counter, so this doesn't mean counter-attack football. This just means players make runs in behind. Don't get that confused. People always say, are you playing counter-attack? No, even the pros are doing it. So it's like long ball last year. I got Poach on my striker and I got advanced forward because Son is a finesse shot beast. Sometimes Son does play in each role, so it'd be like this, more like that. Foden, we got inside forward attack. Guti again, Bon Matty will play here. Just ignore Guti. Whenever you see Guti, just ignore him. Tonali and Guijarro we got in CDMs. One of them is a holding player. One of them is a CDM. And then we've got the left back and the right back. We got them, all of them basically on balanced and defensive. Defensive. The only one we have on balanced is the right back. Just provide some width. But of course, if you want to, most people are struggling when they're pressing with, because what people are doing is they're putting, for example, like a 4-3-3. They got, for example, their left wing on stay forward effectively, or inside forward attack, for example. So they stay as wide as possible in a build-up phase, and then the through balls coming in behind and people are getting taken. So if you are struggling defensively, put them both on fullback defend, but you can also then make this more attacking by put both of these players on playmaker. So that's something that you can do. Just a quick tune. but I would say I'd recommend this one. Use this one first. It's a very good pressing formation. Want to make this more attacking? Make that player playmaker. I've already gone through the 4-2-2 tactics. You can see from my video, but that is just an update, and that's the code there on the top left corner. Now, we are now moving over. So now you got one for when we're closing out the game, one for when you're losing. What about how you start the game? Now, I have 3 here, okay? So the first one I have is the 4-1-2-on-2 narrow. I made a video on this. Thank you very much for everyone that tested. I think this has been tested from rank 1 players, rank 5, rank 3, rank 4. I've made some adjustments that I thought would be appropriate. The only thing that I've done is put the counter attack on balanced. I think that's going to help an average player. If you're like a rank 3, rank 4 player, or rank 5, and you're trying to push that one rank upper, that count is really going to help you. This is a really good setup because you play in at 4-1-2-on-2 narrow. Yes, you lack the width. That's one thing you got to remember in this formation. You're going to lack the width. But if you're up against someone that's playing a very, very wide formation and you want to go down the central column and you want to be condensing your attack in the middle, in the narrow areas, then this is the formation to go. We got the left center back on ball playing center back. You don't have to do that. The most important players is Guijarro. She's holding because when you get counter-attacked, she's going to be the player. The left back and the right back, because they're false backs, they don't have that much distance to run back when you lose possession of the ball. We have 2 box-to-box centre mids. You can, of course, make one of them a playmaker if you want to, but I think box-to-box is more appropriate. The strikers, I've gone with advanced forward, and I've gone with poacher. It should be something like this. And then for the cam, we've gone with a shadow striker. Now, this is my personal opinion. You want to make this a bit more conservative, make this a playmaker roaming or playmaker balance. Now, to be honest, I really like shadow striker because they're just behind the striker, and I like that 3 versus 3 because then if my opponent's got CDMs here and they got, let's say, a back 4 here, then what I can do is I can have those 3 players in between, and it's my job for my left center mid and right center mids to find the space on the wide areas, and therefore you can go through. If you want to make this formation wider, of course you can make these players, for example, you can put them as attacking wing backs if you want to, or one side to be more attacking. But personally speaking, I think it's better like this. This is the way that I like it. And of course, you're defending a 4-1-2-on-2 narrow. You're very much connected in the middle. And the only downside with Foden being a shadow striker is that he does stay forward. So that will be my 4-1-2-on-2. As you can see, the tactic code is on the top left. Now we go into the 4-3-2-1. I had a bit of mixed feelings about this one. I really like it. It's like people are saying, you know, we see Team Hullet's tactics, and people are using it and they're saying the tactic is not the same. It's true. And also attacking wise, it's not the same. So what we've done is we imitated here the 4-3-2-1 from last year. So you know how you defended the back 3 last year? We've added in Guijarro as a holding CDM. Very, very important. So when you lose possession of the ball, you've got someone that can basically sit back and protect your back line, because people are still playing 2-3 strikers on stay forward. So do bear that in mind. And on the left-hand side, we've got a Batcher. The reason I put a Batcher on the left-hand side because she's a left back and she's attacking ++. But of course, you can switch it and you can make the right back go more attacking. Then we have Rodrigo's inside forward roaming, which is my favorite, by the way. Again, just ignore what I normally do is I sub these players off. So if you're seeing players out, you're probably thinking, no, why are these players out of position? Don't worry, I normally sub these players off. I'll probably bring on Neymar, for example, if I want to in this situation. But I don't mind a winger that's not tracking back and defending, being out of position, for example. I got Son on poacher, and I got Foden on inside forward as well. That is the way you attack. So it's on the left-hand side heavy, and I like it because most people naturally defend this area heavy, but they don't defend that area heavy. So I actually like it to be honest, more on the left-hand side as time goes on. But that is the 4-3-2-1. To be honest, I don't use this as much as I thought I would, but it defends in that one CDM. So sometimes, for example, if I'm inside the game, and let's say hypothetically speaking, I'm playing narrow, and let's say I can't get through, and I need a bit more of an overlap, I need a bit more width, then I will go to the 4-3-2-1 because it gives me a different attacking option. You see, this is more of a narrow formation, just purely in essential areas. This is kind of one where you're also narrow, but you're also wide with that wide outlet. So that it would be the formation where width and the narrow, it's either a narrow ability, but with added some width, if that makes sense. The only thing is you do lack is that the left mid and right mid, think of these guys like David Villa and Pedro, 2011. They stay wide as possible. And then when you're on a final third, then they become inverted. And when Batcher comes through, you end up having a front 4. So that is the 4-3-2-1 from last year that I'm using. Not as much, to be honest, admittedly, not as much as I thought I would be using. And the one I'm using the most is my holy grail, the 4-2-2, my favorite 4-2-2 counter. And we've got balanced. And a lot of the defensive approaches take a more of a balanced approach, especially in your first weekend league. Don't go crazy unless it's the pressing tactic. You can go towards 70. Have a more of a balanced defense. Be more defensively stable. Stability is the most important thing in your first weekend league. But this is the 4-2-2 that I have, and the way that it works is when I'm attacking like this. So it's kind of like a 3. And then the way this works is Foden is a shadow striker. Son's the poacher. Son's going to be making those runs behind. Foden's going to be just behind, and you're going to batch your creating a width. So sometimes what happens, you end up having a 5 attack, because sometimes even Guti, for example, ends up bringing the attack as well. From a defensive standpoint, so that's when you're attacking. So you have 2 strikers, because sometimes with a 4-3-2-1 with 1 striker, I feel isolated. But I don't want to be going to like a 4-1-2-1-2 where I'm narrow. I want to maintain 2 strikers. This is the formation I go with. So I got Son, Rodrigo. Normally it's like this, to be honest. Son is advanced for because he can also get the ball to his feet. Finesse. Playmaker roaming. The one thing I like about roaming this year is that, so this player is a Bon Mati would normally be. Bon Mati would sometimes, they used to use Lavelle there as well. They would occupy the right mid position if there's space available. So let's say, for example, your opponent's left back is occupied, their centre back's occupied. Bon Mati would make that space down the right flank when there's space available, or that right attacking mid. So you ideally want pace here. Then we have Bacha making the attacking fullback. I've already mentioned that this might be, if you're watching this right now, you might be saying this is 2 attacking. If this is 2 attacking for you, put this on wing back balanced, but of course I'm going to put wing back attack. We can even put attacking wing back balance if you want to, but I like it because she always makes that run guaranteed. For some of you guys, this might be too offensive, so make sure you try this tactics out at least 1 game in Rivals before you go gung-ho, because at the end of the day, this year is all about making it precise for your tactics. Guijarro, we have it holding, very, very important. Tonali, and deep line playmaker. To make this more defensive, if you're struggling, put this player as a false back and put this player as Guijarro, same as holding plus and defend. And that way you have a good setup. I think this is the best setup I've had so far. Thank you very much for everyone that helped test me with these tactics. Don't forget, every single Friday, you will see an updated tactic in regards to this week tactics. You know where to come, Neil Guides. Don't worry about your first weekend league. See how it goes. Have fun. Don't sweat it. Hopefully this 5 bet's going to get patched. And don't forget, if you want to get better FC, come to my Patreon. So it's patreon.com/Neil Guides, or click on the link down below. In fact, all my weekly updates from next week should be coming early to everyone that's those on a Patreon series as well, if you're part of the Discord server. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy. And of course, catch you next time. Best of luck. Let me know your rewards and your ranks down below. Peace out.